Ghostface is the scariest killer in Dead by Daylight, and nobody can change my mind. Wraith can be seen from 20 meters and can be heard from what feels like 60. Dredge can only be scary in 60-second intervals, and Myers is only scary if he doesn't want to win the game. Ghostface can be scary every 15 seconds until someone looks at him. But his undetectability isn't what makes him scary. It isn't even his stalk. It's his review mechanics. The Ghostface is a stealth killer who can... You know what? Let's watch his reveal trailer. His trailer is one of my favorites that Behavior has ever made because it's just so unique. The trailer starts with a man shopping for groceries in a hardware store. Don't lie, we all like the drywall before. It shifts to a man with footsteps heavier than Nemesis walking down the aisle with a shopping cart. He makes it to the front desk to reveal the highest quality sweat I have ever seen and ever will see. The cashier starts scanning, but he reaches a bloody knife package. And, well... Ghostface throws his entire 9-to-5 paycheck at him and walks out the door. God, I love this trailer. Anyway, the Ghostface is a stealth killer who can sneak up on survivors and stalk them to inflict them with 60 seconds of exposed using his power Night Shroud. Survivors can reveal the Ghostface and knock him out of his stealth, but this requires a direct line of sight and a prolonged exposure to it. Additionally, he can crouch, which can be helpful when sneaking around. Since Ghostface doesn't have much gameplay-wise, I'd like to take a second to look at his lore. This isn't a licensed killer in the traditional sense, because the only part about him that was licensed was the mask, which was bought from Fun World Entertainment. The person behind it is entirely Behavior's creation. Let's see what they've created. Jed Olson was somewhat of a nomad, constantly moving from city to city, eventually settling in Roseville, Florida. While there, he picked up a job at the Roseville Gazette, which was the local newspaper. He worked there for 5 months before he had to start writing about murders, all committed by a man in a Ghostface costume. These murders were well planned, but carried out with such violence that it seemed like a crime of passion. Each victim also seemed to have some sort of security device within their property. The killer would stalk his victims for up to weeks, registering their schedules and habits. When he wanted to kill, he would know how and when to do it. Jed was tasked with writing about the murders of this man, which he did a great job at. He enjoyed how the town seemed to fear his ghost stories. Eventually, clues were discovered, including a Walleyes matchbook with blue writing and almost a blue pen with DNA on it, and the investigation began to lead to Jed himself. Packing his bags, he left Roseville, but not before leaving a note at his old job. I hoped you liked my stories. I enjoyed bringing them to life. Don't worry, I'm not done. The police refused to comment as Jed Olson remained at large. Now, using Ghostface's add-ons, we can find a lot more information about him. The first thing is that his real name is Danny Johnson, which is shown in his driver's license add-on. We can also, mostly, decipher where Danny began and ended his killing spree. He most likely started in Philadelphia, since his add-on Philly says he stole his trademark camera there from a victim. This victim was most likely his first, and it would be followed up by a patrol officer in the same night, with a drop-leg knife sheath saying it was taken from one. He then moved to Utah, potentially stopping at other cities before he made it there. All that's confirmed is that he made it to Utah because of the headline cutouts add-on. After Utah, he went to Roseville, Florida, where he committed 4 murders. We know the amount of murders and that he wrote about these because of the marked map and Ghostface caught on tape add-ons. After the investigation forced him to move out of Roseville, he went to a different Floridian town, which is stated at the beginning of his lore. He killed at least one person here as well, since he cleaned his equipment. This would be his last kill though, because he was then taken by the entity. That's all the lore we have, at least for now. But that doesn't mean we're done with licensing interactions. Since Behavior only had to license the mask, they're allowed to make many more skins than they would usually be able to. One of my favorites is his blighted outfit, which just looks amazing. But I mean, it makes you wonder how a man as meticulous as Ghostface let the blight get anywhere near him. Guess he just wasn't good enough at looping. With that over, let's get back to the Ghostface and his power. Entering Night Shroud grants you the undetectable status effect, meaning survivors can't read your aura and your terror radius is removed. While in Night Shroud, you can stalk survivors who are within 40 meters of you. This takes 5 seconds, but can be decreased to 2.5 if you lean out from cover. Once a survivor is fully stalked, they become exposed for 60 seconds. This allows you to immediately down them upon hitting them. Survivors who are fully stalked cannot reveal you by looking at you. If you happen to be revealed, the Night Shroud has a 24-second cooldown. Night Shroud is best used when you manage to fully stalk someone and either down them immediately or get an entire team injured as they attempt to take hits for them. Traversing the map in unique ways is helpful, and getting the drop on survivors is also surprisingly easy when they can't see or hear you. Ghostface, despite his simple power, actually has quite a few tips. Since you gain the undetectable status effect when you activate Night Shroud, you can use this to fake leaving an area. Your terror radius fades out instead of disappearing immediately, meaning you can just stand still and it will sound like you're leaving. However, personally, I've had better luck doing this by actually leaving the area and then coming back while undetectable. A tip useful against flashlight users is that you can crouch to fake picking up a survivor. However, this isn't the only thing crouching is good for. Since it decreases your height, you can use it to make yourself harder to reveal. Additionally, because you're an average height killer, crouching typically makes it harder, if not impossible, to see you around most loops. Just remember to manage your red stain while doing this, and keep in mind that while they can't see you, you can't see them either. Finally, you need to remember that you aren't completely undetectable while in Night Shroud. You still make loud leather noises from your floating pieces of jacket, and your white mask can be seen pretty easily. As long as you keep that in mind, you should have a great time playing Ghostface. Now it's time to talk about perks. Specifically, Ghostface's perks. The Ghostface has an affiliation with the entity, which is why his cloak floats. Unsurprisingly, behaviors seem to forget about this, and only gave him one perk that references that. Maybe there's no affiliation at all and he just put oil on it. Thrilling Tremors is actually pretty solid for its age, and hasn't had any balance changes. Upon picking up a survivor, each generator not being worked on is blocked by the entity for 16 seconds, with a cooldown of 60 seconds. This is the working class barbecue and chili, found at the bottom of the Goodwill bin. It has the same general idea, but none of the flair of other perks. But honestly, it might be better now that barbecue isn't required, and Tinkerer is nerfed it to the ground. I'd still take barbecue over thrilling 100% though, just because it shows people not working on generators. Continuing the trend of old but solid perks, I'm All Ears is up next. After a survivor performs a rushed vault, you see their aura for 6 seconds with a cooldown of 40 seconds. This is extremely useful on ranged killers, not you. It's even good on basic killers to take a quick break from mun gaming. This is a highly regarded perk, and it's easy to see why. Finishing our trend, we have... oh, never mind. Next is Furtive Chase. Each time you hook the obsession, you gain a token, up to 4 tokens. Each token decreases your terror radius while in chase by 4 meters. When someone unhooks the obsession, they become the new obsession. I don't think I have to explain to you why this is useless. Why would you want a smaller terror radius after you've already found someone? The only useful part about this perk is the obsession switching, which combos well with Nemesis and Make Your Choice. But even this is outdated because of Scourgehook Floods of Rage. Based on how many times I've seen this used unironically, you could say this perk is trying to be furtive. Now let's talk about perks that go well with Ghostface. First off, all aura reading perks are fantastic since you can very easily sneak up on people. I highly recommend a Nurse's Calling so that the people you sneak up on are also injured, or Awakened Awareness when it comes out. Mindbreaker, it's called Mindbreaker, is also great so you don't have to deal with Sprint Burst countering your sneak attacks. All exposed perks are good as well because of the Nurse's Calling situation. You can sneak up on people very well, so you want them to be able to go down in one hit. Out of all the exposed perks, I recommend Hex Haunted Grounds or Make Your Choice for the duration. Lethal Pursuer is one of the best choices because it lets you get that early stalk and down within the first few minutes of the match. For the same reason, however, I can't recommend Corrupt Intervention, because you'll probably be downing someone 30 seconds into the match. Furtive Chase, no, I'm just kidding. The last section for perks are ones to look out for. Being a stealth killer, you suffer from healing perks such as Pharmacy, Boon Circle of Healing, and Inner Healing. If you took my advice and brought aura reading perks, which are very strong on Ghostface, you will suffer greatly from Boon Shadow Step and Distortion. In the same vein, if survivors have Lightweight, Lucky Break, or Quick and Quiet, it becomes substantially harder to track them. No point in being stealthy if you can't find someone to stealth attack. Real quick though, why do so many stealth perks start with L? Lightweight, Low Profile, Lucky Break. Guess the devs think they can offload their Ls on the perks. Also, I think you dropped yours. Pick up your L. It's considered littering not to. Off the record hurts every killer, but it hurts you more because getting the drop on someone can be invalidated. You always want to stealth onto people who can be instantly downed. Out of all the exhaustion perks, Sprint Bursts counters you the hardest since people can run to a different realm as soon as they notice you. Finally, let's talk about add-ons. Danny has a big case of Demogorgon syndrome, where most of his best add-ons are lower in rarity. Philly is one of his best, reducing the time it takes to fully stalk a survivor by 20%. Walleye's Matchbook is also up there, reducing his power recharge time from 23 seconds to 17. Olsen's Wallet is up next, recharging Night Shroud whenever you break a pallet, which helps with mid-chase stalking. All of his purple add-ons are pretty great as well, my favorite being the driver's license. Stalking a survivor repairing a generator is easy enough, especially if you 99 their stock to pick them off later. There's also that shock factor in the generator you were repairing exploding and getting blocked right in front of you, which typically causes survivors to stand still for a second, allowing you to catch up. Victim's Detailed Routine can act as a Mindbreaker substitute if you have nothing else or need to spare a perk slot. It can help counter Sprint Burst in the same way. Combined with Driver's License or Drop Leg Knife Sheath, they can be a deadly duo. Ghostface Caught on Tape and Outdoor Security Camera are both relatively strong. However, in certain situations, Ghostface Caught on Tape could potentially be weaker than its wallet counterpart. Outdoor Security Camera is pretty good as well, revealing the aura of survivors for 7 seconds when you down a marked survivor. This combos well with every add-on. I mean, at least they made it combo more as opposed to not at all. So yeah, I think that's about it. That is everything to do with the Ghostface. I hope you had fun watching this video, because I definitely had fun making it, and you'll definitely have fun watching the next one because you're forced to be there.